Big shot over mid-wicket. There's a man out there on the boundary. Drops it. And they get back for a few. Well, you'd be spewing if you're Josh Doyle, because he's put down just about a sider, really. Decided to cup it instead of putting the fingers up. And he spilled one. Could prove costly. Has another go. Does he get a second chance at it? No way. He does it better the second time. Over the fence for 6. Sometimes you don't get an easy second chance, and this time he'll be ruining it. Dropped on the fence. Here's a replay. Well into the trees. And just a dot ball from the previous delivery there. While the replay was on, we just had a dot ball as well. Kelly bunts straight back into the ground. Off the toe. Bowled. Taking his leg stump. Unfortunately, it's another wicket for Sturt. Thankfully, they've lasted a little longer between wickets. But it's a good one there for Josh Doyle. Gets his 3rd wicket for the tournament. But Kelly, the danger man, who was playing so well, departs. And it brings the skipper to the crease in Davis. You'd be disappointed if you were Brad Davis walking out to the centre, hoping you would be probably joining Kelly a little later on in the game with heaps of runs next to his name. Going at 7 and over this group, but mostly off the back of his scoring. Just the 8 runs between the batsmen, or the other batsman anyway, out of this 46. He's batted well so far in this 2020 comp. Davis, he's had a very, very nice couple of innings throughout. Last night, 46 runs. Another innings score of 56 as well. He's been rather consistent. He'll put another performance on today. He'll go a long way here for the home side. Managed to recover nicely here with 46 on the board, just outside the power play ending. Just need a platform here to really go big from this start, despite the first over, which did go for a few runs. End of the over for Doyle. 46 on the board after 7. So the captain, Elliot Opie, decides to put himself on. Very experienced bowler, Elliot. Brings himself on at a safe time, as you would, protecting your figures and your economy rate and all those sorts of things. Bowling outside the power play when you got the fielders back on the rope. 3 on the offside. 3 on the leg side, apologies, 2 on the offside in terms of players on the fence. Cut on the up, pretty well over point. Goes under the fence, another 4. Ty Watson getting underneath that. Pretty well played. Was never any chance of a catch. It bounced a few metres in from the rope. So best of starts here for Elliot Opie. We want to fix that line of length a bit there. This time plays a very similar shot, just along the ground instead. And a little finer too. Same result, another 4. 8 off the first 2 balls. Watson taking a liking to this pretty early on. Rolling through the rummage of leaves and sticks of the outfield. This time drives. Long off comes into field. There's a single every day of the week through that area. Davis will get a chance to face up. Taking a moment to reassess his field. Needs to get his offside field a little bit more involved. Again, through the leg side. So scoring rate pretty high this over, really. Hasn't found a dot ball yet here in this one. 4-4, single, 5th ball. Another 1 in there. Maybe 2 if they push for it. They choose not to. Well picked up there. Edge out. And that's a wicket, a 4th wicket for the Browns. And the skipper Davis is out. And a pretty simple wicket, really. Bit of line and length, bit of 2-day cricket. And that's really what Opie does best, is red ball cricket. He's bowled that well. Straight through to the keeper. He's got his first. And Davis will be ruining that, because now the man who's made so many runs in the middle order for Sturt so far in this series and helped them to some good victories has now departed for not many at all. And Tom Kelly coming out after a big knock last night. Comes out to the centre. Batting middle order. Got his old man in the scorer's seat today, watching on, helping us out here on Adelaide live stream. We appreciate his help. And gee, watched his young lad Corey hit a few in the first part of this innings. Now he's got Tom out there. See if he can replicate last night's heroics, 98. Quite an impressive hitting fest against Southern Districts. 54 balls as well, mind you, so a pretty impressive spell with the bat. Another change coming on from the southern end, David Grant. He'll have a chance to bowl to Watson here, going through the warm-up. Pretty well balanced start here this game. 4 wickets probably puts Kensington in front, but still some good runs on the board here for what's worth here for Sturt. Down leg side, starts with a wide. Fielder's back on the rope at fine leg, third man and deep point. So wanting to play wide of the crease there, as you can see. The two fielders mid on and mid off are inside the circle. So you wouldn't want him hitting down the ground. Captain just getting in his ear, working out whether or not he wants the fielders out there. Going to make some changes. So their point fielder goes back as well, Josh Doyle. He's going back on the rope. So everything really pointing behind is open. Straight back to him. That's an easy catch. Caught and bowled. And Grant's got one as well. 5 wickets now. And Sturt in a little bit of trouble as their tail starts to get exposed here. We're not even halfway through the innings. And the number 7 bat comes out to the middle. David Grant, a simple caught and bowled, as you saw on the replay. Just the one win out of their 4 games played, Kensington, but they're off to a flyer. And Faruga will be the next man in. The no number as well, it's a different choice. Not a whole lot of runs for Faruga either this season in the T20 stuff. It's not expected exactly relied upon for runs. More of a bowling option. So just about every bowler really get in on the action straight away. Pope with 2, Doyle with 1, Opie with 1, and now Grant with 1 as well. Fatchin the only one without 1. Oh, and Palmer in the first overs. Good Yorking delivery, but just sliding down the leg side enough for him to play that one through square leg for the single. Still maintaining pretty reasonable run rate as well here, the Blues. They've really only just come in little bursts of boundaries. Again, really full Yorker length. And it's a misfield, a poor misfield. John Dalton there, mid-wicket, just spilling that one and allowing an extra run. Rotation of the strike. Both right-handers, which is a good thing as the fielding side. It's one of the worst things in T20 cricket is a left-hand, right-hand combination for a skipper in the field. Having to swap your players around, running back and forth in a game that's already pretty tight for time. Shorter ball hits him on the torso and will get through for some, well, probably leg buys. Kelly facing up. Plays it well through point. There's 3 fielders out there. Forward and backward point both on the boundary, and third man out there for Grant. So a different sort of look at it, but does okay. Just cuts off the boundary and the 1 run there. Score is 5 for 62 after 9 overs. Hopefully you're enjoying the coverage. Adelaide live stream bringing you the West End T20 Cup. It's Sturt taking on Kensington. We're live here from Price Memorial Oval, the home of Sturt District Cricket Club. A couple of fans out on the fence there. Deck chairs out on the opposite side of us. And Lloyd Pope will come in. He's going to come on from the northern end. Bowled from the southern end at the start, first and third overs. He's going to sort his run-up out. The rest of the fielders get themselves set in the correct positions. Long on, out on the boundary, long off also out there. They're both pretty wide too. Mid-wicket. Now backward square as well, all on the rope. Not a great delivery. It's down the leg side, called a wide. The quicker one as well. Really zipped through. Not a lot of turn at all. Straight to the gloves of the keeper. It's floated up. Played straight through mid-on. Took a lot of work to cut that down to just 1 run. Tries to put him over his head, but unfortunately it's taken out middle stump. A quicker one from Pope, and he's picked up at third. Pretty unorthodox sort of look at this. Tries to the ramp. I think he might have played that on too. Interesting choice. And another wicket falls. This time Figura goes. Ewan Woods will have to replace him too. 6 down now, Sturt. It's all falling apart from him. And it's all stemmed from Lloyd Pope from the very start to right now. In his third over, 3 wickets for not many runs at all. I think he's just gone for 6. In fact, no, 3 for 7. His figures so far from just the start of his third over. Impressive talent, Lloyd, and he's working through it here with his captain nice and meticulously. And they're getting everything right so far today. Only small contributions at a time really from Sturt. Corey Kelly got off to a bit of a flyer, some small boundary bursts, and when he got out, haven't really seen much added on since. Ty Watson had a couple of cracks at the point boundary, but other than that, that sort of slowed up and came to an end too. Pope just weighing up all his options here, sorting it out. Return to play. A good delivery once again, just forcing the defence. He'd love a run, Woods, but he won't get it. A lot of flight on that one. It's well played through cover. No one's out there on the rope, and it will get there. into the fence. And 4 much needed runs here for the home side. Pretty much got to the pitch of that one pretty well. Bit too full from Pope. He'll have to take his own, almost had to race after his own ball. Lloyd Pope, another single. Very vacant mid-on. Last ball of the over here. With too many out on the boundary, they're just going to quickly bring one in at mid-wicket. In fact, mid-wicket's going to go back out, and deep square leg's going to come into the circle. Constant changes, but they're important in this game. Final ball for Pope. Played into a very open leg side. Won't push for the second, just the one. 70 runs on the board, 6 wickets lost after the first half worth of cricket in this opening innings. A good run rate, but the wickets just aren't in the bag for later on. They're going to rely on these two most likely to get them over the line. If they can last the 20, it'll be an impressive feat. Because Kensington have been all on top from the very start. And Josh Doyle will continue to bowl. Just removing some of the rummage out this mid-wicket boundary out there. Just going to dump it on the other side of the sideline. Just off your screen. Here's Doyle. Played out to the cover boundary, just a single. Cameras have missed that one. It's just the one there for Tom Kelly. Good bowling there from Doyle. Not a lot you can do with those sort of balls. Expect a fair bit of defence here as well, just so these two can get settled. Going to take the singles where they can. They won't push a second again. Tom has the right intent. He's looking for it, but unfortunately the field are quite quick getting to the delivery. And another single, just making sure they hit it all out to the players on the fence so they can get those runs. Keep working at 5 or 6 and over if they can with just the singles. Well, stop, point fielder inside the circle. Gets to that one. Last ball of the 11th. Played well in another one. And that'll do the 11th over, 74 for 6.
This broadcast is brought to you by West End, Statewide Super, the South Australian Cricket Association, and Adelaide Livestream.
Great to see a word from our sponsors there. Bring us the Adelaide Livestream coverage of the West End T20 Cup. Hopefully you're enjoying it. We're out here on a lovely sunny afternoon at Price Memorial Oval. And Nick Palmer, who came on in the second over of the day, he's got ball back in hand. He's going to have another crack at it. at the middle order here. First over went for 12. I'm joined in the commentary box by a man who may have a little bit of criticism towards his boys at the moment, the coach of the Sturt District Cricket Club, Ben Cameron, after this delivery. And a single down the ground there. In fact, it will become 2. No, it won't. Not the prettiest of starts for you, Ben?
Not from a wickets perspective. We'd probably like to have another 10 or so runs on the board, and certainly losing Brad after having 11 off the over in the 7th or 8th over, losing him on the 6th ball, that definitely hurt our momentum. Watto just got a couple going, and yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah, you say the run rate looks pretty good at the moment. You're around 6 or 7 and over, but unfortunately they've just come in little bursts, and now you're forced to take the singles. Another one here from Palmer. Defence. Kelly last night was impressive. You expect him to play that role again today?
We might not be able to get to see the full explosion of last night. Just there's probably a couple. It'd be nice if Skip was still there with him, but we expect him to play a good role here.
Fuller played into the offside. Another single. There's probably going to be a lot of that coming our way. Brad has been so important for your batting lineup, hasn't he, over the last few games?
Yeah, he has. He's a real smart cricketer, and he's got a pretty big role to play there, outside of the power play and deep into the overs, and everyone else bats around him, and he's a great leader for us.
Driven down the ground, there's no one there. Just the long off fielder. Bit tough, isn't it, to generate lots of runs when the power play is over now, the fielders are out. The singles, you okay with that? When do you think is go time for these boys once they're established?
Probably around about the 15th over at the moment with 6 down.
And again, another one. Just haven't been able to get those 2s on some of those, but most of them are flying to the fielder. It's pretty quick out there. 12 overs down for 79. What if you lose another one? When is it go time then?
Well, there's no doubt that one of these two have to be there in the 20th over for us. They should have a clear understanding of that. It's part of how we want to go about our business, having a top 4 or 5 batter there in the 20th at least. We just have to adapt here and try and get our par score now. Lots of 1s, 2s with the odd boundary, and if these guys can keep batting for another 4 or 5 overs together, we'll then be able to see that dynamic scoring, finding the rope, and 2-pace batting in the last 4 overs. But these guys definitely have to bat the next 3 or 4 overs for us to give us that.
You say par score. What's that for you guys?
It's definitely changed now. I would have thought par's 130, 140 from here.
Yep. Grant. Bowl's pretty full. It's played out to point, backward point. Who's out there? Do you have set plans with your batsmen to bowlers at all? Because Lloyd Pope has torn it up right off the get-go. Maybe just not picking the spin.
Look, there's no doubting that he's full of class, and he gives himself a lot of opportunities to hit the stumps, and unfortunately our guys have been missing the cricket ball, and he's been hitting the stumps, so that's the disappointing aspect.
I'll ask you about the wicket of Faruqa in a minute. Brenda Fagura, should I say? It's coming off the tongue poorly at the moment.
Brenda Fagura, I think.
Didn't go too well trying to ramp him. Is that something you like to see at this point of the game? I mean, you're looking for solutions to problems. He's hard to play, but it just seemed like a shot that probably wasn't really needed at that time as Grant comes in and just played to point for a dot.
I highly encourage players to play with a level of freedom. but also have a high understanding of what the game requires of them at that point in time. And he is smart, and he can play lap sweeps well, but I'm convinced it's probably 10 to 12 balls too early.
Just felt like he'd walked out there and decided to get creative very quickly, but nonetheless, high risk, high reward this sort of game. Another one into the leg side for a single.
Yeah, and with those things, it's really important that you do give players that level of freedom, and so they can go out and express themselves and play the way that they want to. But on the back end of that, I have an expectation that they have an understanding of how to learn through the good and bad. So if a player's open-minded to learning and becoming better, whilst having some flexibility to express themselves and work their way through what works for them with the tools in the shed they have, it's a really good balance, and he'll learn from that.
Off a length, just missing it all together there. Tom Kelly trying to play across the line. Really with the front foot, where it really was a bit too short to do that. Last night, a good win.
It was a good win. Southern Districts put us under pressure, and we saw the true class of Bobby Davis and TK with the partnership that they put on.
Good Yorker there from David.
And one thing that we have a clear understanding too is, Kensington, they're a high quality outfit. We played them earlier in the year with some red ball cricket, and we've got a profile of players that we're learning as we go. And Kensington taught us a couple lessons earlier in the year, and at the moment they've put us under pressure again. And love to see nothing more than these two. We've got an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old at the crease. If they can try and wrestle back some type of momentum over the next 3 overs for us, we might be able to put pressure back onto the opposition.
It's a game of momentum sometimes, and they stole it early with those wickets. With the Opie coming back on from the northern end. He's a good bowler, Opie. You would have seen a lot of him in the red ball game. He, is he a factor when you talk about your opposition that you really want to highlight?
You don't need to highlight players that I don't think that we play against a lot.
Another couple here. Hopefully, if they push for that other one, still not going to do it, and probably fair enough right now.
Yeah. So if the players, we play a lot with and against each other in these days, with whether it's Redbacks League, youth cricket, and club cricket. So players have got a pretty good understanding of how each other operate and the skills they bring to the table. So it's just a matter of working your way through different game situations and applying your game and how you want to go about it.
That time he has a heave through mid-wicket, but the player on the boundary will stop it. Just another single once more. Lots of ones out here. Hard to find a boundary.
And there's no doubt, Opes is a smart operator. He hits the stumps 95% of the time, and he knows what's required of him right now, and it's just a matter of who's better at executing what they're looking to do.
Woods on strike here. Defends, ends up at point. Just another dot ball. So they got strengths and weaknesses, these bats. What do you take out of these guys? What do you really think they can do when they get going?
They're both very, very good at finding the rope at the right time.
That's a very big plus. Just bunting it there. Not getting a lot out of this over, but they just have to stay in. That's essentially it's a game of survival right now. You said the 15th over, that's closely approaching. You'd have to go about 10 and over from here to get to that 130 that you spoke about. Last ball here for Elliot Opie. And does play that Yorker well. It'll be another single to wrap up the over. 6 for 85. Would you have batted first if you won the toss?
I think we would have.
Yep.
You know, Brad's got the freedom to make his choice on whether or not he wants to set up a game or chase. If he's 50-50, he'll come bounce some thoughts off me. But you know, it is a might be slightly slow and low, being second day, hot weather. You know, so yeah, again, it comes down to if you can get that par score and put the opposition under pressure, it's going to be really tough to chase. But unfortunately, we weren't able to execute our plans at the beginning of our innings to put them under serious pressure.
We'll get you to sit in with us for the final 15th here. It's got a big inside edge on that. Didn't quite get a hold of it, Tom Kelly, and it's got straight back into the turf. Your bowlers last night were pretty impressive too. Charlie Parker got himself 3 for 8. It's very good figures for the young lad. Played again for another one in the mid-wicket. Is he going to play another part today? Does he bowl early on? When do you like to play those sort of bowlers who are young, a little bit inexperienced, but, you know, can be a big impact?
He's certainly a wicket taker for us. We like to attack with all of our spinners.
Just another one here, long on. Then Lloyd Pope comes and fields.
So, but again, he's again one of our 20-year-old players that he's getting exposed to this level of cricket this year for the first time, and he's getting his opportunities. He continues to get better. Reverse
sweep play comes off very well. That's got some pace heading to the rope. Will it get there? Just saved. That's well done. Nick Palmer doing the work on the rope. They get away with a couple of runs there. How good is this save? Taking another look at the replay here. Just saves it.
Yeah, so these two boys are, majority of the time, they're playing the game exactly what's required of them at the moment, and it's going to be an interesting last 3 or 4 overs. There's no doubt that one of those overs or a couple of those overs, we're going to look to try and put some pressure back on them. You know, but in this game, if you can get 1 over for 14 or 15 in the last 3 or 4, it creates serious pressure.
Well, these two are doing very well just to tick the scoreboard over and stay together at the crease, which is all that matters. 5 overs to go. The score at 92 for 6. Ben, thanks for joining me for that small little period. Good luck with the bowling part of the game as well. I'm sure there's plenty to talk to the boys about. Hopefully you're defending a reasonable total and we've got a good game in our hands. Yeah,
fingers crossed that we can get around par and we can. It's a good afternoon of cricket. We always like to see a high standard cricket and a good game. So fingers crossed we can put something on the board and we take the win with 4 overs to spare. 4 balls to spare.
4 balls. Thanks for your time, mate. We'll return with Nick Palmer. Behind square leg there, still coming in from the boundary, means they can steal a couple. One of the rare times they can find a couple of runs. Woods managing to get back to the striker's end. And if they can turn some 1s into 2s now in this back end of the innings, it'll go a long way. Comes down the wicket, well played through cover, but again, boundary's covered. So winning the toss, coming into bowl first, the Browns, and Elliot Opie made a good choice. And the fall of wickets 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and eventually 6 for 64. This one's skied. It's pretty high up at point. Running around to try and get it. It was difficult. It was spiralling, and it goes down. So a bit of luck there for Tom Kelly. Had a real crack at it. You can see him right under the sun. Couldn't quite pick it. And in the end, didn't really get very close to it at all, John Dalton. And with the broad brim hat on, probably still had it stuck behind the sun. And again, just playing through mid-on for another single. I'll just keep ticking it over. It's not a highly entertaining batting innings in the back end here. They're trying their hardest just to stay in and get the runs as they go. But at 6 for 64, you really did think that they were in a serious hole. Well, they've come out of it okay. And 30 balls left, in essence, down the ground. Couple here surely for Tom Kelly. They'll push. Woods has got to run hard. And they get there with ease. So another 2. They're starting to rack them up now. And score 6 for 97 after the 16th over. As you see on the screen there, the run rate of 6, just over 6. As they're looking at about 120 runs if they stay at this rate. 24 balls to go. Kelly on 17, Woods on 16. And Pope, the one with all the wickets. Figures of 3 for 14 from his 3. Returns once again. Can he get another scalp? Got 2 of them from this end a little earlier, right at the start of this innings. And had them 2 for 3 in the first over. Best start you could hope for from your bowler. Played, didn't quite get all of that at all. Owen Woodson just gets another one. If he did get all of it, the player was no one on the boundary out there at mid-wicket, really. He was quite square. It was Williams, in fact, as well, as he's moving around now off the boundary. So filling their hole there at cover here for Kelly. Goes up in the air. Square leg ain't catching that at 6. Finally getting a hold of one from Lloyd Pope. And sends it over the fence. Off a length 2. That was a good ball to take away. Hit well. It's a good 5 metres over the fence there. Over the rope. Rocks back. No run. Hit straight to cover. The triple figures now, which is good for Sturt. Get another one there. Probably could have pushed for 2. They're running these singles. They would be pretty tired. It's warm out there, just over 30 degrees. Lots and lots of singles in the past 6 or 7 overs. So I can't really blame them not for pushing for every one of them. Again, through mid-wicket, there's a gap, but it's well done by Long On to get around and pick it up. 1 ball to come from Lloyd Pope, and he'll finish his 4. Shorter ball again, straight to the keeper's hands of Robert White. And that'll do his spell. 3 wickets for Pope and a very impressive start for the Browns. His teammates get around him. Thumbs up for him. He started this game, set it up for them, and put the pressure right on the home side. They've had to do a lot of work, these batsmen, to get themselves back out of a tricky situation. And with 18 balls to go, At 106, definitely not their ideal position, Sturt, but they're going to have to take what they've got and defend it very soon. So Grant taking on from the northern end. That's well played. It's managed to get over the fielder off a bounce and make its way for 4 down to third man. So first boundary in a while there for Sturt, which is good. They'll take that. Only a few overs to go, so they need to start finding the rope as many times as possible. Bit of bad luck there as well for the Browns in the field. Goes to backward point this time, also misfielded. Dalton won't get there from third man, and another one. 2 in a row, back to back. Well, it's good times here for Sturt. They've been suffocated for quite some time. And a couple of little unlucky pieces in the field has had that happen, so it's an interesting stage now for Kensington. How do they move forward from here? Grant again. 4, very full. 1 bounce through to the keeper. As the batsmen start to really get settled out here, we have a guest joining us in the booth as well, which is very nice. Grant, one more ball. Played through point, and again, it will get to the boundary. Really starting to light it up now. And Woods is finding his feet. Out in the centre, joining me is Ty Watson from the Sturt Cricket Club as well, one of the departing batsmen earlier on in the innings. Sorry to say. How are you, mate?
Coming off an innings of striking it under 100 nicely, chewing up 19 balls.
Oh, you can't knock yourself too hard, mate. It's been a pretty impressive amount of bowling out there, especially that first 10 overs. They just found ways to get wickets.
Yeah, and particularly their spinners, I think, were really impressive. That they changed up their pace really well and used the fact that this wicket's shooting through a bit. It's been about 14 games played on this deck, so it's keeping a bit low, and they capitalised on that really well. Especially, so Popey and Doyle, really bowled well. So
absolute credit to them. They've done well so far. Playing across his stumps there, walking across anyway. Another single out to deep point.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Kenzie's seamers, but yeah, I think in particular it'll come down to how our spinners bowl. We've got three spinners, and if they can if they can bowl in a similar way and change up their pace and squeeze them, then yeah, we're in with a chance. But it's going to take something special.
So who are your good spinners? You got to list them out for our listeners here. Tell us a little bit about them.
We've got Ewan Woods. He's our Pom over again. He was here last year. Charlie Parker, a young bloke. He's a really promising leg spinner. Bowls with good pace and variations, but yeah, particularly for short form stuff.
Good swing through it. Long on's out there. They'll push for 2. They get it. Woods pushing and getting in his crease nicely. A good long stretch. And another end of the over. 18 down now. 121 for 6 on the scoreboard.
And the third one, Ziggy Kalesha, who's been around for a long time, and the left-arm Chinaman. When he's on, he's very dangerous as well. So, yeah, if those 3 are on for us today, that'd be handy.
Now, what was the mentality with the batsmen this afternoon? Obviously, Lloyd was bowling some absolute pearlers, so they're a bit hard to stop. Was there something about him you sort of go, right, let's just keep him out?
Yeah, pretty early, after those first 2. It was kind of. We sort of said even if he goes for only 3 or 4, but we just don't want to lose any more wickets at this point, and try and make up for it at the other end. So that was a pretty quick decision to sort of change that plan up a bit.
Elliot Opie will come on from the southern end. He'll round out his 4 overs here Very wide of the crease. It's hit well down the long on, but it's taken by Lloyd Pope. Half a metre into the boundary. And unfortunately, the 7th wicket goes, and it was a pretty good shot, really. Did come out pretty well off the bat. Maybe off the bottom of the bat a little bit, but it hasn't done enough. Good catch, though.
Good camera work, too. Good for Pope here to review.
That's a good catch, and unfortunately, the 7th one goes. It was 6 for 64 and in a bit of trouble, but they've managed to put on a good 60 runs together, these two, and Woods has to depart. And going out to the centre now, Ziggy, one of my favourite names in this competition, I must say. He heads out to the centre to join Tom Kelly, and they'll hopefully for Sturt wrap up the innings together. But you hit a couple of good boundaries through point off, was it Opie's bowling, I think it was?
A couple of gifts from Opes early. Yeah, you don't often get them from him, so that was nice. I needed to catch up because I was struggling to get anything away. So. And
then just the real sort of regulation red ball cricket dismissal.
Yeah, that was ordinary. Missed out the ball before. That's the one that, yeah, butterfly effect. If I'd hit that before like I should have, then something different would have happened the next ball. So. Anyway, it's cricket.
Unfortunately, that is cricket. Couple now for Elliot Opie to his name in this innings. Kelly has a crack. He'll bunt that one really into the point region for a single.
It's good bowling.
So with, say, 135 on the board, if we're just going to say, going at around the run rate here, you probably end up there. Do you feel confident defending that? How many more would you like on this deck?
Yeah, well, we said a few overs ago if we can find a way to get 10s for the last 3 or 4 and get ourselves to 140, we'd call that a decent recovery from where we're at. But yeah, still we'd have to be on to defend 140, I think.
Down the leg side, we'll take him by the keeper. There may have been some bat on that, or foot, so don't think it'll be called a wide. Yes, runs called, a bit of bat on that one. We're just speaking before with Ben Cameron, your coach, looking at the deck, and you were saying it's a bit slow. If you were captain, would you have chosen to bat first if you won it?
I'm a bit different. I'm actually personally a big fan of chasing. We have these conversations quite a lot. So if I was captain, it'd be I tend to, for whatever reason, I've had good personal and team success chasing in the past. But
straight back past the bowler. Pope bursts in off the rope to stop the 2. It won't happen. 2 more runs to Kelly, and he's going to have to hog the strike here a little bit, which is fair enough.
So yeah, I don't mind that. I'm pretty sure if Bobby won the toss, we were going to bat. But yeah, I definitely would have thought about bowling.
Now, last night we saw Tom play quite a remarkable innings against Southerns. He's closing it out here again for you guys. A fair bit of weight in his shoulders today. Backing up off 98. This time it's played through. Mid-wicket once more for another single. And 1 ball to go for Ziggy to face.
Yeah, it's a shame you guys weren't streaming that last night, because that was just ridiculous ball striking. Just clubbing them straight, and no matter how many they had back on the rope, he was just consistently hitting them over their head. I haven't really ever seen anything like it.
And he's only young.
Yeah, only young. Great bat speed, but just to keep smoking them out of the middle, yeah, it was unbelievable. You think he's going to miss hit one and just didn't.
Sees it out. They won't take the single, but there's a chance of a run out. It almost was too. Wasn't far off. Kelly, I think, wanted to do the right thing to start with, but Kaliza started to run down the wicket. He said, actually, no, let's not do that because we do want you on strike next over, Tommy. And then he's ended up halfway down the wicket and had to get back. A little bit of average communication, but they've sorted it out. 19 overs. We've got 7 for 126 and 6 balls to go. These could end up anywhere. He's just going to swing at everything, I suppose.
Yep, a few strikes like last night right now would be handy.
Where's the best place to go on this ground? Is there sort of the tennis courts? Is that where you like to aim at this place?
Often the deck's sort of a bit more towards this side of the ground, but in this case it's a longer boundary out there. I reckon Kells will be looking straight like he was last night.
See how he goes. David Grant, this one's flicked away. It's 4 through backward square. Straight to almost the commentary box here at the club rooms. So that's definitely the ideal start. And Grant will need to tighten this up. Poor Yorker down the leg side. That's really a gimme. 5 balls to come. 130 on the scoreboard for the Double Blues. He goes again, this time faces long on, drops it. And they're getting back for another. Gee, Kenzie's couldn't get anything. Oh, in fact, it's run out. Well done in the end from the fielder out in the deep. May have been Josh Doyle out there, in fact, and so the run out, Ziggy Kaleza misses out at the non-strikers, and we'll take another look at the whole lot of it. Pretty full delivery. Ends up spilling it. There's been a few drop catches today. Trying to get back. Just didn't have his bat down maybe in time. Might have been the only issue. He looked like he sort of got the distance though. Nonetheless, it's a wicket.
Good recovery after the drop catch.
Yeah, you got to say it's well run, really, but unfortunately didn't get the bat down. So Hanno Jacobs in at the other end. He shouldn't have to face a ball if Tom Kelly does things right. Has another crack through mid-wicket. Can they run two? No is the call. Kelly stays at non-strikers. Jacobs will have to face up. He asked the question, why? I'm happy to sacrifice my wicket. What's Hanno Jacobs got in his artillery?
Well, hopefully tennis courts. After mentioning that, but I haven't actually seen a huge amount of Hanno with the bat. But I think he's got a bit there.
Chance to impress you then. Looks at cover, is hit straight to him. They've missed the stumps and they find a single. That's suicide running, but it's managed to run.
One of the better cover drives you'll see. That's unlucky.
First ball too. As a lower order batsman myself, I'd look upon that sort of stuff. Finding the middle straight away. 2 balls to go, 133. How many more can they add to it? It's up to Kelly. Good Yorker, that's well executed by Grant. Get back for the second. Go for the non-strikers. And the throw was a little too slow, and Kelly gets back for 2, and he's pretty exhausted now. 1 ball left. How's Kelly been playing throughout the 2-day stuff? Is he playing first grade?
Yep. No, he's definitely one of our brighter prospects, and yeah, had a few. Well, start of the season was mainly 1-day stuff, and had a few good innings there.
Played away mid-wicket. We'll stop that one. Will they run? Bit silly too. He was only going to get out. So finishes on 40. Tom Kelly backing up after his 98 the other day on a Friday night.
Big 20 hours for Kells.
It's a very big 20 hours, but he's done the job for their team. 6 for 64 they were. Now 8 for 136 at the end of the first innings. Would you take that?
I don't think
you said about 140.
Yeah, we wouldn't take it at the start of the day, but 3 or 4 overs ago, I mean, yeah, I would take that as a recovery to something that's somewhat defensible, hopefully. Yeah, I reckon the key is if our spinners are on, we're a chance.
Well, thank you very much, Ty, for coming in and joining me for the last few overs. Good luck.
Thanks for having me.
And go well out in the field. We'll take a break here on the Adelaide live stream. And we'll be back with the second innings play in just a moment.
ice at pole. Oh, that in the game. Go on then. That fish thing that looks like that. Probably made me feel a lot better about 5 minutes. That's great.
Well, welcome back. Second innings just about to get underway, and it's Kensington trying to chase down 139, the target. There you go, updating the graphics on your screen. A little more than 0 to chase. Ewan Woods will be opening the bowling. Northern end of the ground. Straight to backward square to open things up. Obviously just 2 fielders allowed outside the ring in the power play, so you have to defend well here as best as possible. Dalton tries the second shot. In fact, Jake Brown, sorry, on strike there, playing those 2 shots. This time gets the single, gets himself off the mark. At the other end, Paul Allegretto, 122 runs in the T20 comp so far at 30. So a solid average, getting some good starts. Hit 62 as well, so in one of the rounds. So, but just the one win for this Kensington side against Southern Districts, who Sturt beat last night. Other than that, some losses to their name against East Torrens, Tea Tree Gully and Port Adelaide. They get one here today, away from home on a Saturday arvo. Cut shot, third one for the over, and they get another single. If he gets there and does, chance at the run out at the non-strikers. Allegretto makes his ground nicely and gets through. So they're going to have to go 7 and over to get the win. And we'll go through some of the run scorers for Sturt soon if you hadn't caught up with that. Well played through point. Brown gets the first 4 for the Browns. Everything's been just that little bit too wide here from Woods this over, outside off stump, and once again it's been played through that region and finally a boundary is achieved. Fitting player for this side. That surname, Jake Brown, coming around the wicket instead. And again, played through third man. Pagura gets that one, fields it in, just a single. And 1 ball to come. He'll jump back over the wicket. Bowled him, top of off stump, big wicket. Paul Allegretto goes in the first over. That's the first one he's put on the stumps, and he gets rewarded for it. Owen Woods, there's the wicket. Misses the cut shot, probably wasn't there, it came back in. And the bails go flying. The start for Sturt that they wanted. And we have 1 for 7 after the very first over, and John Dalton will come out to the centre and meet Jake Brown. They've got a bit to do this afternoon. They'll probably want to rely on their top order, as most teams would, to get these runs. They're very talented. Have the capacity to bat the whole innings out if they're smart about it. Dalton, an impressive young lad, coming in at number 3. So Brenda Pagura will come in and bowl from the southern end. He's going to bowl the second over. 132 runs to win from 114. That's the equation. It'll sit at the bottom of your screen for the entirety of the innings. They'll sort their field out here. First ball from Pagura. Right on the money. Quite quick. He's nice and tall and can get that arm whipping down. Hit the pitch hard. Bit of pace in behind it. Tough to play. You need players behind square to stop him from going for too many runs. They've got third man in place. Backward square. Point on the boundary. Finally get a 45. They're all behind the bat. Comes down the wicket. A bit of a slower ball too. He didn't quite time it at all. It looks a little bit silly. Crowd getting involved as well. A few of them out here this afternoon. Getting in amongst the T20 action of the West End T20 Cup. It's round 5. Both sides really pushing for finals. Final next week on the 20th. The Sunday afternoon at Karen Rolton Oval. We'll bring it to you live on Adelaide live stream as well. Defended off Pagura. Round 6 is played on Tuesday night. These sides have games. Sturt takes on Adelaide at Glandore. And then Kensington against the emerging Redbacks at home. Played the point. Going to be quick. He's hit the stumps. Dalton's out. What a brilliant run out. That is outstanding from Corey Kelly. Takes down the stumps. A one-action pick up and throw. And that's how the stumps are left, dismantled. Take another look. That's outstanding. He didn't even try to get into the crease in full stretch. And finishing well. Second wicket to fall. And after just 10 deliveries, it's 2 for 7. And Sturt have got Kensington in a very similar situation to they were. And the hunt down to 139 runs starts to get a bit tougher. So Sam Williams, the new man, out to the centre, wearing the big number 12. And a proud parent sitting next to us, the Kelly dad, who's just really pumped his young lad can go and do that. Hit half the team runs, get a crucial run out of the gun batsman at number 3. Last night, Tom going on and hitting a stack of runs. What more do you want out of your lads? Is that why you still pay for their subs to watch that? Yeah. Yes, that's a big yes. So Bagura gets his field set up. Williams faces up here, an average of 30 in T20 this year. Just the 2 games played. And that one moving away from outside edge. A good delivery to face up straight away. Brown at the other end of the wicket. Non-strikers hit 52 in the game against T20 Gully last night. We haven't really touched on that game either. A pretty close one. Big thick edge going out toward third man who's on the rope to get himself underway, Sam Williams, and that is the end of the second over. 2 for 8. We've had eventful starts to both innings now. And quite the run out indeed from Corey Kelly. So the run score is obviously in the first innings for the home side to get them up to 138. 42 from Tom Kelly, not out from 34 deliveries. Corey, his brother, with 36 off 25 balls, and Ewan Woods down the bottom of the order, 33 off 30, a really important 33 too. Wasn't fast, just lots of singles in there and sticking alongside Tom when the team was in a bit of trouble. Just the 5 extras to that score, and 138 for 8 was the final tally for Sturt. Speaking of Ewan, he's back on to bowl the third over. Defended, no run. One of those ones where you take the wicket on the last ball and the skipper says, all right, you can have another. We had Ty Watson in here earlier from Sturt say their spinners will probably win in the game. So expect him to bowl a few here today, Woods. He, Charlie Parker and Ziggy Kaluza all combine as probably their 12 overs of spin, which means we'll see a lot of off pace on this low deck. Down the wicket, Williams. Another chance at a run out, but this time they're quicker. And another single. In the air, but it's played through mid-wicket and then to the outfield. Just the one rotating the strike there for Brown. A win for Sturt really gives them a good sniff at finals. This time playing behind point and done very well. Dudley's going to be the one that tries to chase it down and gets it with about 3 metres to spare. And get a couple. 3 overs down. 2 for 12. 127 still to get. Going at 7.5 and over. And last night, T20 Gully took on Kensington, who are batting right now in front of us. And they won by 2 runs. They went down Kensington to T20 Gully at home by 2 runs. It was an absolute thriller. Kenzie's was 6 down for 147 at the final ball. And they needed 150 to win. Brown, who's out there at the minute, hit 52 off 39. And Sam Williams, who's also out there right now, had 26 off 23. They were the top scorers Well, how much can they do here today at Price Memorial? Pagura comes in, quick turnaround. Yorker played well, they want the run. Williams will take it. It's hit the stumps. Umpire says no. Good shout, but he has done well to get in. Pretty risky run. It's basically gone straight to the keeper. Take another look. He's taken off quickly. He made up his mind. They all loved it from behind the wicket. Clearly the umpire had a good angle and made his decision. They remain at the wicket. Dudley there in the foreground, in the background should I say. Standing there at gully, 107 on this ground only a few weeks back. We're lucky enough to cover that. Absolutely remarkable knock in the T20. Good line length, played onto the leg side. Just a bit too straight perhaps from Pagura, and one run to Williams. The semi-finals obviously are coming up on the same day as the final next Sunday afternoon at Karen Rolton in the city. We're going to be covering the final from 2:30 in the afternoon live on Adelaide Live Stream. It's worth tuning into. There'll be two blockbuster teams, well, two big teams in a blockbuster game rather. It'll be all live for you if you can't get down there yourself. Currently 28 degrees here in Hawthorn. Oh, it's a big thick edge. It's avoided the hands of Brad Davis with the gloves on, and he'll manage to trickle to the rope. That's pretty impressive. And through for a goal as well, the goal post at the other end. A sausage roll, if you like. 4 runs. So Jake Brown will take that. Didn't do much, just used the pace of the ball. And we were saying that earlier with Pagura. He's so quick and he's generates a lot of pace off the deck that you only need a little bit of bat on it and it will race away, and you need players behind the bat to stop bowlers like him going for any of those sort of runs. Clever play, but you won't get them all the time as a bat. Once more, tries to play through point. That's well saved. Tom Kelly once again getting involved. Or Corey Kelly, sorry, coming in. They're in a gully point position. Last ball in the over here. 2 for 19. Dudley's just going to come around in the mid-wicket position from gully. Played behind point nicely again. The third man fielder will stop it. And then the over at 2 for 20 off 4. 2 overs to go in the power play. 119 more to get. We're very lucky to be joined by Ben Cameron, coach of the Sturt Cricket Club, and also Ty Watson earlier in the first innings. We'll probably have a chat as well a little later on with maybe some of the Kensington players and staff. Get some good access here on the stream, which is good for you guys at home. Get to learn a little bit more about the players out in the centre that you're watching and how they'll go about it, what their tactics are and their plans, how it's playing out in the centre. Woods to continue. His third over in the air. A big diving attempt from Corey Kelly at cover doesn't go his way. And it's fielded it wide long off for a couple of runs there for Jake Brown. Might have another look at the attempt. Jeez. It's a good diving attempt. Probably another hand's length away from him. has a go. Manages to miss the fielder at wide mid-on. And it goes for 4. So Sam Williams will take those runs every day of the week. It wasn't pretty, but he got them. Real chance that the wicket didn't get all that at all. But he found the gap and went over them. And they all look the same in the scorebook. Comes down the wicket this time, and a misfield. Just the one in the end, though. And of course, if you are tuning into this and missing out on the Australians playing in the One Day International, I can tell you that Australia are going, well, not horribly, which is what most people would probably expect. Played straight back past the bowler through the mid-on area, just for 1. Ben Hanscom just getting out for 73 against India in the first one day at the SCG, 5 for 254 after the 47th over. For those cricket fans interested in the national side right now. That game obviously not free to air. This one is. You've got this option today if you want cricket. That's a pretty good one. Wide of the crease. Williams goes bang. That's into the trees. That's entertaining cricket from Sam Williams. Off a length. Steps across the stumps and got right under it. So a good result there for the Browns. Coming toward the end of the power play. They want to get over the infield as many times as they can, and that's as good as it gets. 1 ball to come in the 5th. Does it again this time. It goes very fine. Doesn't even exit the circle. Pagura goes and fields it. And 5 down. Overs, that is. And the score at 2 for 35. And Corey Kelly looks like he may have a little dip with the ball. Having some trouble with the stumps there, the run. So Corey Kelly will get a chance with the ball. We've got Dad alongside me if he wants to have a quick word about Corey. Not at all. What does he do? Is he bowl a lot?
Yeah, he's all rounder.
He's an all-rounder.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what he's got in his arsenal.
He's had a few niggling injuries, so he's just sort of getting back into the swing of things. Yeah.
Some niggling injuries. So he's just working his way back in, really. Some medium paces here by the looks. A lot of zinc on. Distinctive look. Cut well, hit pretty well, but it's only going to be 1. They're the worst as a batsman. Feels really good off the bat, but it goes straight to the fielder. Don't get a boundary out of it. So they've managed to get that required run rate under 7. Just going to keep going at this rate. Obviously with the power play ending after this over, it may get a little more difficult. So if they can cash in here off Corey's bowling. I mean, worth a lot later on. Comes down the wicket. Dropped by the keeper in Davis with a one-hand attempt low to the ground. That's a tough one. He probably wasn't expecting to take it either. Let's take another look. Just moving away a little bit. Very thick edge, and oh, it's in the palm for a small moment and it drops out. You won't want to watch that one back. Tough chance going forward. Score remains at 2 for. Backward defence, well fielded again by brother Tom. Real ring field about this one. Just a serious ring field. There's not a lot getting through here. Man, third man on the boundary and deep square leg, but they probably won't go there the way he's bowling. This is really good. Just outside off, not letting a lot through. Managed to edge up Jake Brown as well. Tries to go big. Third man's out there, and on the one bounce, takes it in the hands. So a single. Rotating the strike with Sam Williams back on. With one ball left in the power play. And the same field for the left-hander. And defended well, trying to get it down to third man. Just the one ends it. The power play comes to a close at 2 for 38. Still 101 to go. And 14 overs to play with. And run rate of just over 7. There's the signal from the umpire. It'll be Charlie Parker from the northern end who will start a spell. So leg spinners to come. And now they can have fielders back on the rope, up to 5 players. Took 3 for 8 last night. Charlie Parker in their win against the Southern Districts, which was pretty comprehensive, really. Won by 87 runs. And we take 3 for 8. You're going to do your team a hell of a lot of good. Hits the non-striker stumps. So the ball doesn't go anywhere really. Could have gone down the ground for 1 or 2. So misses out there, Williams. Comes down the wicket again, playing the leg side. Fine legs in the circle, so again, dotting up. See how well he can find his lengths here. Been a bit full already. That one's better. And a quick single. Funny game, cricket. You can bowl some really good balls and they end up going for runs, and you bowl some bad ones and they end up getting wickets. Just a little signal there saying, look, there's a little bit of turn and bounce. Just be aware of that. That's not the best of balls, but there's a fielder out there to protect it. Bit of a full toss there. Could have really put that one away, Jake Brown, but in the end didn't. Down the wicket, plays down the ground beautifully. That's the desired result. 4 more. So Williams getting a bit of a move on. Coming down the wicket, taking a liking to it. The fuller delivery. Most of them have been. There haven't been a lot of flight in it. Probably needs to get a little bit more air. That's a bit better. Comes down the wicket. Stopped at cover. And that's a pretty quick over. 7 overs in the books. 2 for 44. Pretty balanced game so far. Haven't really done much else but go at 7 and over. The current run rate of 6.2. So keeping up with it, and the wickets are in the sheds. Sturt's innings looked somewhat similar to this one right now. Lost 2 in the very first over. Kensington lost their first 2 in the first 2 overs. And then from there, 3 for 46 was the next fall of wicket. Kensington 2 for 44. Are they around the corner from replicating that? We'll soon see. So Corey Kelly just sorting out his field. Got Brenda in there trying to give some words of advice with the field and how to go about it. They got Long on. He's about 3/4 of the way in. In fact, he's back in the circle now. So third man point and a backward point all on the rope on the offside. Didn't get a hold of that at all. Brown. Dot ball. Good economy rate so far in this one from Kelly. Had him edging up in the first time in his first over, in the 5th over before, and dropped by the keeper. Tough one though. This time plays the cut shot well. Will it pierce the gap on the boundary? Doesn't. Well fielded out there. And the attempt at the run out as well. Umpire says, I'll come in and fix the stumps because it's not out. Good work out in the boundary too to just get it, stop with the dive and whip it in. And it was accurate for Brad Davis to just take the bails off very quickly. And they're just looking for the second bail by the looks, which is a little bit concerning. They have lost it. Has it really been whipped away that far? Nope, they found it. Umpire's having a little run around. There we go. The full castle is complete. Back to business. 93 from 76 is the equation. Still plenty of talent in the sheds for Kensington. Defending into the offside for a single. Another crack at the stumps. Clearly there's a fair bit of intent by the field. They're going at the stumps often. They're not afraid to have a crack at it. Attempt the run out. They're all backing up pretty well as well. So coming around the wicket for the left-handed Williams. Comes wide of the crease. Pushes out to cover for a single. .4:30 local time. Hopefully you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in from. We're on Adelaide live stream, Facebook and YouTube, and of course you can like us and follow us and whatever on all the different social platforms. We'll have the rest of the T20 Cup competition coming your way with the final from Karen Rolton Oval on Sunday next week. Just halfway through the ball there, must have been some captain's orders in the middle of his run-up. So we go again. Very full. Played behind point. Just used the wrists. One ball to come, 2 for 49. Run rate of 6.2 still. Steady at that rate. Still probably need a few more boundaries here and there to get themselves ahead of the game while their batsmen are in. Comes down the wicket, they appeal, and he doesn't move. And the umpire's not set out. And so everyone is shocked. And Williams will stand his ground. Let's take another look. Nothing evidential. It's a bit hard from a distance. But he's clearly not happy about it. A lot of attitude taking the cap from the ump. End of the 8th over, 2 for 49, the score remains. And so do the two batsmen. They did the roll last night for their side. 52 for Brown, 26 for Williams, and they're out there still together today with 90 more runs to get. Couple of missed chances now. They've had a few lives, these batsmen. They're making the most of it. They'll change the bowling from the northern end. Hanno Jacobs is into the attack. Tall fella. Just to whip him down. Jake Brown. They needed wicket here, Sturt. It's really important they get one. Walks across his stumps. Well fielded there from Connor Dudley. Inside the circle at fine leg. Diving to his right. And it's a 1 run instead of a boundary. That's the sort of stuff that wins games. Small little moments like that. Very full, played out toward cover, and it's 4. No one on the boundary out there, so it goes all the way through for 4 more runs. They continue to push on, these two. Williams with just another boundary to his name. It's in the car park in there somewhere. There it is. Bowls going on in the background too, if you hadn't noticed. Plenty of sports going on the Saturday Arvo here. Beautiful setting, lovely setting. No clouds in the sky either. It's absolutely picture perfect out here. It's about 30 degrees. A lovely Adelaide Saturday Arvo. Second to last round of the T20 West End Cup. Around the wicket, Jacobs, and he plays through point this time. They reposition the fielder, so that one's also 4. And the boundaries we spoke about before, they really needed to just get a few more off to get ahead of the game. Well, they're coming now through Sam Williams, accelerating the score, and that's 8 runs. Just a couple of balls now. Still got a few to come in this over. Brad Davis having to keep and sort out the fielders. It's the best place to captain from, the keeping position, no doubt about that. Whipped away on the leg side this time, another 4, 3 in a row. He's doing the job now that Kensington need. He's just not getting his lines right here, Jacobs, at all. He tried the Yorker, but it probably needed to be more on the offside. And that's an easy one, flicked off the toes. So, wonder what's going through his head right now. A little bit low on confidence this first over. Goes again through the infield, but it'll be picked up out there by Tom. Tom Kelly through the keeper, almost a chance at some running on the overthrow, but no. And now that run rate back down under 7. Required to win, 76 from 67. Once they get around that one a ball, then it becomes very difficult to defend as a bowling team. You need to then start taking wickets, and they haven't had much luck since the first couple of overs. Got off to a flyer with that run out, which was inspirational, and also the first over, Ewan Woods bowled one of the boys, top of off stump. Since then, they haven't seen a wicket. 9 overs down. Lloyd Pope's going to run some drinks out for the Kensington lads and start thinking about the back end of this game. Corey Kelly will bowl his 3rd over from the southern end. There he's on his screen. A few runs for him in the first innings as well for Sturt. He hit 36 off 25 balls. Just played the 2020 games this year as well. Prior to this one, out of the 4. He seems to have stood up in this one. He's been one of the better players. If he can snatch a couple of wickets, he's probably putting his hand up for man of the match. He's currently got a run out, 33 runs, one of the top scores. So, and 2 chances too for caught behind. 1 dropped, 1 not given. He's been making a difference. Wide of the crease, down the leg side will be called wide. Oh, it's well played. Just glided toward 3rd man. 1 out of that. Switch the field around. Left hand, right hand combination. Pulls away, but there's no one there inside the circle to catch it. Not the best of shots there, probably caught the top of the bat. And sort of ballooned up. Glides it again toward 3rd man. Just another single. Quite windy out there. You can hear through the effects mic that we've got set up. Boundary side. Bit of a breeze coming through. Through to the keeper, big swing. No connection. 2 to come. And Kelly's been terrific. Bowling, batting, fielding today. A lot of energy. And executing pretty nicely across the board. Through with a cut shot, he's bottom edged it through, 1 bounce to the keeper. Getting a little bit frustrated, I think, Jake Brown. He's been out there since the start, and he just really hasn't been able to find any rhythm or flow. Start of this over, he was 28 balls for 22. So he's now 30-odd balls for just as many runs. Has a big swing through mid-wicket and he'll get a single for it. I think he'd just love to get one out of the middle and hit a boundary and just release some of that tension that he's got right now. Another good over from Corey Kelly. He's got 3 now. Overs completed, that is, after the first 10. It's 2 for 68.
This broadcast is brought to you by West End, Statewide Super, the South Australian Cricket Association, and Adelaide Livestream.
So 2 for 68 after the 10th. And we have Ben Cameron back, the coach of the Sturt Cricket Club, in the commentary box with myself. And it's been, look, hasn't been horrible. It's actually been quite good, but it's just a balanced game, and I'm sure you would wish for more wickets. As this one is played away very well. As we speak of wickets, it's not going to be one. It was almost a catch on the boundary, just a few 2 metres too far, and it's 6 runs. As I welcome you to the box, Ben.
Yeah, well, look, there's no doubt a wicket is handy, and whether or not Brownie nicked that one before, that the boys are pretty confident on. Yeah, that would have been nice if it was given out, but that's the way it goes. And yeah, no, a third wicket here, and obviously Brownie's experience with Williams at the other end. It's a pretty good combination at the moment, and we're under a little bit of pressure to create some dots and hopefully sneak a wicket and keep this game evenly poised.
This time through square leg, getting down on one knee. And Kelly again, the Tom variety, whipping it in.
Yeah, Williams is he's played a really good T20 knock here, coming in those 2 early poles, as we all know, had Kensington right on the back foot. But Williams has been playing some good cricket shots on a consistent basis with some real smart aggression. So it's been a really good knock by an inexperienced first grader. So it could be the making of him.
Yeah, he has been, as you said, playing a really well-rounded game. Down the wicket again, just taking a few steps down the pitch. Finds a run there through mid-off. A couple of fielders couldn't quite get together and stop it. But the wickets are the key. He got off to a great start. Plenty of energy out there, as you expect. And Kaleza continues well fielded there in the end as well by Brinder.
It's certainly a 2 to 3 over patch where either team can pull it right into their favour.
Walking across his stumps here. However, at the opposite end of the pitch, you've got Jake Brown, who's really struggling to get off the mark. Is this someone you keep on strike a little bit more? As we just get through this one here from Ziggy. Comes across the wicket. He's gone up high. Well, he might not be around for much longer. Tom Kelly takes the catch. About 10 metres in from the rope. And there's the third wicket that they really wanted. Didn't connect with that at all. He was looking for a reason to get going. And takes the catch.
I personally think that was the right play by Brownie. He come across the crease looking to clear the rope after getting an early boundary in the other over. So he'd be disappointing with his execution, but I certainly think that was the right play. Short boundary, hitting with the wind. So it's a good wicket for us, but it's certainly the right play by Brownie. He's in, and obviously his experience. It was the right shot, right ball, and unfortunately for him, good for us. He didn't quite nail it.
So now 3 for 70. The game right back in the balanced position. We're starting to get away from the Blues a bit, but
and that's where
it's balanced again, which is good.
And that's what I was talking about before, is where if Brownie hits that for 6, and that's a big double-digit over after Hanno going for a double-digit before, so that's a big 3 over block by Kensington without losing a pole. And I'm convinced that would have been Brownie's play. And you know, this game, T20 cricket, it has swings and roundabouts, and it's a high percentage of execution, and who can do it best over 240 balls naturally will most likely win the game.
Charlie Parker's going to come on from the southern end of the ground, and he bowls his leggies. He didn't quite get it right in the first over, but he took 3 for last night and certainly knows how to turn it on if he can. You spoke about him before in the first innings when we had you in, but he's probably going to need to be really economical here. Coming in for his second over.
Yeah,
what are his plans?
You'd be disappointed if they're obviously trying to hit the stumps here. Disappointed if they weren't trying to hit the stumps.
And that one there doing just that. Nice and straight on off stump.
There's certainly an element of changing your pace. You know, and as a leg spinner, it's a tough art. And you know, we saw earlier that, you know, Popey, and with Popey, he's one of the better ones of doing it in white ball cricket around Australia. And Charlie's sort of a similar type bowler where it's fast action and it's all about changes of pace and little subtleties. And it's interesting that leg spin art has actually trended that way.
Well played there behind point, but obviously no run. There's a good bit of protection there. He doesn't get a whole lot of flight, but it still feels like it takes its time in the air, doesn't it? A bit of hang time from Charlie.
Certainly when he holds it back a little bit. He's a smart bowler.
Trying to come down the wicket, but it's a good length and has to go back. There'll be a couple of runs here. Ty Watson fielding at third man, chasing after it and sliding and doing well. Williams retains the strike.
And that's a smart cricket shot by Williams. Clearly adapted from what his plan was, that ball. So that's part of smart T20 batting, your ability to adapt halfway down.
Tries to go big. It's their leg before. Might have been a bit high, but nonetheless, they're going to take it. They get one to go their way this time too. And Charlie Parker gets the breakthrough. And a second look from a zoomed angle here. Yep, that's pretty much adjacent. You're given that every day. Now, well bowled.
Yeah, and some pretty good captaincy too. You know, Brad loves captaining 2 to 3 spinners every game, and we've got the luxury and to have the players to pick 2 or 3 spinners every game we play. Even with the loss of Tom O'Connell, you know, Charlie was playing some really good second grade cricket last year for us. I think he won the second grade medal. We won the flag, so he was a very influential cricketer at that level, and he deserves his opportunity. And as we've seen in white ball cricket this year, he's consistently taking wickets for us. Even though at different times his run rate is, you know, sort of more around about that 5 to 6 and over. We're very comfortable with that as long as he continues to break some partnerships for us.
Well, it's all about the impact sometimes, and the wickets are worth so much. And right now, 4 for 70. Very similar situation to your side in the batting innings. 2 early wickets, bit of a partnership. Another couple are lost in the middle innings. It's this back half now that is so crucial for both sides. As you said, there's a few overs here in this middle area where if you get some wickets like you are, you start to get ahead. If you don't get the runs, you fall behind into the leg side for another single to end the 12th.
Yeah, Josh Doyle, he's part of the Emerging Redbacks program. He's a highly skilled player, and I think he's played some innings in this competition in the first half of the season that he's got the capabilities of taking the game to the opposition and sometimes away from the opposition, and so he's a dangerous person in this particular situation, and so is Robbie White. Robbie White won a T20 last year. Ziggy took 4 for none in the 19th over, 17th over, and then Robbie White scored 26 off the last 2 overs to win the game for Kensington,
wow.
9 down. So this is a very dangerous partnership for us.
Well, Kaleza comes on again from the southern end, and first ball goes for just one, just defending. Yeah, and the previous pair who were out there before who made a stack were out there against Teacher Gully last night and did very well, top scoring both for that game. So some players out here that really can take a game away if they choose to. Josh Doyle on strike currently. Flicked away for a single. Dudley will run around to that pretty well from fine leg.
And that's why this club, Kensington, they just continuously perform year in, year out because of the depth that they have throughout their club.
That's tossed up a fair bit, but doesn't really connect with it properly yet. It doesn't get all the way. And a couple of runs there. The throw in to Davis wasn't flash.
Whole experienced club, Kensington. I think you're talking 23, 24-year-olds here at the crease.
Down the wicket, in the air, but falls pretty safe with no one there at mid-on. They decide against the second. They come back safe. Well, you've got your next game against Adelaide at Glandore, and then it's, if you get the win here and maybe next week, you're on to finals. And your club has been pretty strong in the short format over many years. Do you have, is it a real focus for your club to excel in this format?
Oh, look, we would like to win every game in every format,
of course, yeah.
like all clubs, teams, no matter what level.
We'll cut away forward a point, just another one.
But we understand that the profile of our group, the youth that we have, the range of skill sets that the players have, we've got probably 3 to 4 all-rounders in the group, and white ball cricket, it does suit, particularly one-day cricket, 50-over cricket, it does suit our group. In saying that, you know, our T20 cricket last year was well below what our group's capable of, and so we have put some focus into the way that we want to go about this competition. And you know, our run rate is our percentage, even though we're 2 and 2, our percentage is double of the rest of the opposition. So that's the pleasing aspect, that we might have lost a couple games, but we're playing some good cricket and we've got some good plans, and it's just a matter of keep going to the drawing board to execute.
Tries the ramp, gets it pretty well. Fielded inside the circle in the end. Gets one out of it. And well, you were saying before, your captain Brad Davis loves to come in with 3 spinners as options. Now, that's real short format stuff. You don't see that in the red ball game. So I suppose, you know, if you've got talent in that area, you're going to want to utilise it in this format as best you possibly can.
You can go down that selection path, obviously, if you have, you know, we got Corey Kelly. Last year we had Alex Gregory. So if you have that genuine batsman that bowls.
Another couple of runs here maybe on offer. It's been hit pretty well, so just one out of it.
Yeah, you need to have a genuine quick who can bat in your top 6 to select that way. And we're luxury, we've got Brad, who's a wicket-keeper all-rounder as well.
Works him back into his crease, but it's done well. Another single, so they're just pinching some runs here. Just rotating the strike. As we creep over 90. So 49 to get now from 38 balls. The run rate isn't quite up there where it needs to be, but they're staying in the hunt. Strange way of playing that one. They've worked across the crease and played sort of with a nudging shot there. Corey Kelly's been outstanding. I just want to touch on him briefly as well today with the ball and with the bat. But as an all-rounder, you know, you take a player like him and you really want to get around that sort of talent, as that one's just going to get a couple of runs. You know, how much do you like his talent coming through? Because so valuable with both.
Yeah, look, Corey had, I think it was close to a month off. He sustained a medial ligament strain at the back end of the 19 championships, and he's certainly a crucial player to how we go about white ball cricket. In particular, his role with both bat and ball. Today, certainly showed what he's capable of, particularly in the power play, and he's got a specific role to play at various times. And today we pulled the trigger. His first game back was against Northerns, who's a little bit rusty, and so we've given him a couple games just to get back into the rhythm of things. And today he certainly played the way that we like to see him play. Like to see him do it for probably another 6 to 10 balls longer. But no, he's as dangerous as anyone. I think in this competition as a genuine all-rounder that can bowl with a new rock or bat the top 6.
Yeah, because he comes out and he just bowls a good line and length and finds the areas that are challenging, and in the field he brings energy as well, which is so important too. Hanno Jacobs is going to come in, bowl his second over from the northern end of the ground. Play through cover. Pick up a run here. In fact, they want 2. It's good running. White's end is targeted, and White is safe. And the players stare and ask questions now.
Geez, you wouldn't mind a side-on camera here, would you?
We have got one. May have a look. That's a little, just a bunt down to long off, but then the throw, probably didn't expect it to be so accurate. Yeah, just off screen. Do have a side on, but we may not be able to get to that. Nonetheless, the decision stands.
The reality is with those close decisions, umpires have to err with the doubt. Both teams, want that consistency.
Another chance. Missed this time. There's one thing I have pointed out, and I'm not sure if this is something you've pressed upon the guys, but your intent at wanting to throw down the stumps. There's been about at least 7 or 8 attempts today in this innings.
Yeah, with such a young group, they want to have a dip and have a crack, and you certainly don't hold them back. And this format's about hitting the stumps.
Another chance. This time a little bit more unlikely than the others, and another single.
And there's certainly time, like we all understand that there's certainly times when you should throw and shouldn't throw, and but I highly encourage, keep having a ping, because you need to hit the stumps more often than not. And if you have 10 throws, you'd like to think that 10 hits, you get 2 outs.
Got through to the keeper, swing and miss with that drive, not far away from the outside edge of Rob White.
It's 5 overs to go here. You can certainly see what Doyley and Robbie White are trying to do. I'm convinced they're trying to make this, get it down to around about 12, maybe 12 or 13 off the last couple overs, and it's very gettable.
Well, they've been going at a rate of 6.6. They need 7.8. They've sort of been under it all day. Again, just straight past the stumps at the other end. Long on fielder gets around to that. So a couple more runs to Rob White, who's put on 42 runs in this tournament so far, which isn't a whole lot. But he's just playing the role now that needs to be had. And if he can stick around, like you said, it's all about just a game of survival, really, until the end. The last few overs, you can pinch 20, 30 runs if you're lucky. Plays well through the covers. One-hand pick-up. Goes to the non-strikers, misses.
And they've got Elliot Opie and Cam Fatchin in the sheds at the moment, who they've certainly got the top bat swings that can clear the fence. I think they're setting themselves up nicely here, playing it well. Again, it's evenly poised, and again, it's going to come down to who has the ability to bowl full and straight and be smart with some change-ups, create some dot balls. And then obviously the opposition, Kensington, whether or not they're good enough to keep finding the rope in these last 2 or 3 overs.
Pagura will come back in and replace Charlie Parker. Send down some quick ones. Tall lad who's got plenty of pace about him. Hits the deck hard and makes a serious impact in the game when he gets going. Take a look at some of the batsmen so far in this innings for Kensington. 30 for Jake Brown at the top, off 35 balls, slow, but just stuck around. Williams made 45 off 32, a really important innings, and currently White 14 not out, and Doyle, who's at the other end, 8 off 8. With 5 overs to go, 38 are needed. And a good dot ball, important dot balls. What sort of line and lengths do you like to see from your paceman at this time of the game now, Ben? Is it the Yorker length? Do you like it going there?
I'll definitely at certain times with a certain field, depending on what they're looking at. They got mid-off up here, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's banging it into a length at the moment.
Does just that, the cut shot straight to the player on the boundary who's patrolling the deep point.
But yeah, as I said before, like everyone sees the game differently. And what would you do in this particular situation? And that question's always thrown up, or everyone's more than happy to throw out their opinion. But ultimately, if the players are quite clear on what they want to do, Skip's got a good plan, and you're able to execute it. If the opposition are good enough, well, so be it.
Well, it's fooled him a little bit. The change up of pace hasn't been able to quite get a hold of that, and plays and misses through to the keeper.
So watching Big Bash and over the journey, your change-ups are so crucial at certain times of the game, and Brinders can certainly execute his change-ups very well.
Down the wicket, plays over cover, that's brilliant. It's 1 bounce 4. Just gets inside the rope about a metre in. We'll have to chase that one on the playground. Let's take another look. Comes down the wicket.
This is a smart, aggressive cricket shot. Fields up, going straight. Got himself some momentum through the ball. High quality player.
106 for 4. Full toss. Played over mid-wicket. Some hard work being done on the boundary to chase that one down. 2 more. So Doyle just having a bit of a swing now and knows the state of the game. It's just out from 1 a ball. I need 7.4 and over. We'll have to go through some of the bowlers and see who's remaining. Kaluza will have a couple. Parker has a couple. Down the wicket again, slower ball, good choice. He must practice that a fair bit, that delivery.
Yeah, it's the old Ian Harvey slow ball that we saw.
A throwback.
That we saw through the 90s. And I do know that he has a certain range of flexibility in his shoulder that allows him to get his shoulder into that position. And like all change-ups, whether it's a Yorker or bouncer, in particular slow balls, you need a high volume of practice to then transfer it into a game. And there's no doubt, he's done that over the journey.
Yeah, it's a game of just constant different variations, isn't it? And the more you can have, the better off you're going to be. Keep the batsman guessing every time.
100%. 4 overs to go here. It'll be interesting to see what Brad and Zig are thinking about in terms of who bowls these 4 overs.
Steps across his stumps again, whips away for a 1 bounce 4 straight at our cameraman. She's had to duck for cover. Old Cat there smiling. She does her best to get out of the way. Let's take another look. Not the ideal start for Charlie Parker.
And again, that's another high quality shot coming across. He's only got 1 man to beat, and that's the backward 45. Smart shot, well executed.
It's getting a bit too close for comfort now. Another sweep shot. Doesn't beat Dudley this time. So 5 off the first 2 here. Just about makes it 1 a ball. The wickets are now important, but also the amount of dots you get are even more important. Short ball, it's not flash. But it gets a wicket. That's so important. We were just speaking about it. And Charlie Parker snatches another. So Sturt still in this game, no doubt about that. Here at home, just taking that one out there. Corey Kelly on the chest, or almost at the stomach, just sort of cupping it against his body. And now they're 5 down.
That certainly helps the cause with coming up with 3 overs left. So it would have been nice if they didn't cross over, so we could probably maybe get a couple of dots with Opes coming into the crease. But yeah, with maybe 6 or 7 off those first 4 balls, that certainly helps. A wicket and a couple of dots here would be fantastic coming in with 18 balls to go, and with 3 overs to go, mate, I might leave you with it because it's
time for you to get back to job.
I must admit my heart rate just just increased by about a couple 20. And that wasn't because I did a couple of laps.
No, you've done a great job filling in just for some time here on the stream. A couple of balls left in the over here. Umpire asking whether there's 3 or 2 balls left in the over. We've got 3.
Umpire wants to know how many balls are left.
And the question's being asked, and the answer is 3. Well, we knew that. His counter might have been out of whack. Sweep shot from White. I'm not quite sure where it ended up, but it's a dot ball, which is all that really matters for Ben's group. 2 to come. Down the wicket, plays it through the point region. 2 runs on offer, they don't want it. Opie will have to take 1 more ball here.
Yeah, you said earlier, thanks for joining you. You're on your lonesome here commentating the game, so it's a tough job. But you know, this is such a great vehicle for us coaches, players, and the game at Premier level to promote the players and talk about the players, so the viewers at home get a greater understanding of the competition and who's playing and the high level of talent that's in the group.
Another big shot down the ground, long off, wants to come around, but it's a 1 bounce 4 by the looks. Umpire will signal 4. They will. Thank you, Ben. No, I appreciate that. It's great to bring all the club cricket to the viewers and the nation. They deserve to see this fantastic talent, and hopefully your side can, with a bit of an audience at home or whereabouts they are tuning in, can get the win. But yeah, there's still a few overs to go, so it remains to be seen. Thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks, mate. And yeah, we're sitting 2 and 2. It'd be nice to go 3 and 2. Kensington, if they win today and win Friday night, I think 3 and 3 with a really good percentage. I think there's one team that may sneak in at 3 and 3, and whichever way it goes with us today, we'll have that view of 3 and 3 gets you in. But obviously the win today puts us 3 and 2, and we'd like to get a 4th win on Friday night. But yeah, we'll see what Kensington want to give us here in the next 3 overs.
Well, you've no doubt got the troops to get you there, so good luck, and hopefully they get you across the line in the next 3 overs.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming out.
So White on strike here. 18 balls to go. He cuts well. Cuts very well. It's into the fence. So another boundary takes the equation to 17 off 17. Run a ball now. They finally caught up. The game seriously gets quite interesting. How many dots can the Sturt side salvage up? And any boundaries here can make this game very, very difficult to defend from here on in. Played well again through cover. Tom Kelly's out there to stop it. So 1 more run, 16 needed off 16. Target of 139. I was saying earlier in the first innings they'd love to have a few more than that, the Sturt boys, but unfortunately not. Well played again, but the fielder out there to stop it, cuts it off once more. Just another single. We're going ball for ball, run for run. They've mapped this game out quite well, Kensington. They might have lost the first 2 wickets, but since then, 2 for 2 or whatever it was ugly scenes. Played again through point. Hasn't been bad bowling here from Corey Kelly. 2 balls to come. But the singles are hurting because a boundary really does then start to put them in a serious pressure situation. And a chance for one, and it will be one. That's 4. The Browns move 1 step closer to that second win. 10 runs to win off the 13. Fortunately, the ball that had been going toward point all this time has finally found itself forward a point through cover. There's a big gap in the infield. Played it well through there. Walks across his stumps. Yorker outside the leg stump. Another single. It's 9 off 12. 2 overs remaining. End of the 18th. Elliot Opie managing to get those last few runs that were so important then for the Browns. So 4.5 needed and over. It's the smallest it's been since the get-go. It'll be Ewan Woods by the looks, by the cap he's taken off to have a bowl. He started off the innings. Figures of 1 for 25. He's got 1 over left. Going with the spin option. Which leaves at the other end choice of Hanno Jacobs, Brenda Pagura, or Ziggy Kaluza to bowl the final over. Walks across his stumps here. Stopped in the field by Dudley. And 2 runs were achieved. It's going to be tough now for Sturt. 7 runs to get from the 11 remaining. They're a few steps away now from clinching this second win, Kensington. Keeping themselves, as Ben Cameron was saying just earlier on the coverage, only probably 1 or 2 teams, probably just 1 team will slide in with that 3-3 record. Sturt want to be that team, but Kensington can also be that team. Get that second win here today, and then the 3rd one, the also important 3rd one next week on Tuesday. And they can still fight for that spot. Down the ground, that's a beauty. It's going over the head of long off. It's actually hit a car and damaged the mirror, which is a little concerning. Hope you're not the owner of that car. Take another look. The hit's impressive. The accuracy on that window is, even the mirror should I say, is even worse. But in the cricket context, we've got 2 to win. So the fielders come in. No easy singles now. Elliot Opie with a big shot. In fact, it's 1 to win now. 138 is the score. We've just been corrected. Walks across his stump and just ramps it over his head. And that'll be enough for Kensington to wrap up their second win of the T20 Cup for the 2018-19 summer over the Sturt Blues here at Price Memorial Oval. with about 1 over to spare. They've got the job done, and Elliot Opie does a fair bit of work at the end. A couple of good shots to get it done. And Sturt, they finish, well, their record now anyway is 2-3, as is Kensington, so they go in with 1 round to go, a chance to hopefully make the final with 1 win if they can scrape in with 1. So an impressive game in the end. 5-wicket win for the Browns away from home after they lost by 2 runs last night. They will take that and they'll be very, very happy with that. Lloyd Pope was fantastic front of the group there. He took 2 or 3 wickets, should I say, during the game in the first innings and got them off to such a good start. And then later on, Sam Williams with the bat was impressive with 45. Brown also at the top of the order with 30. And White out there 28 also, which was certainly a good part in the back end of the game, which certainly got them across the line. So there you go, 139 chased down by Kensington over Sturt in this 5th round of cricket. Thank you so much for tuning in to Adelaide Live Stream's coverage of the West End 2020 Cup match. And we certainly look forward to your company when we get the Karen Rolton Oval final. That's where it's held. It's held at one of the better grounds in Adelaide. It's the 2nd tier oval to the Adelaide Oval, so it's going to be a fantastic place for viewing, and as is our stream. So we look forward to your company then when we get the final of the T20 Cup. Thanks for your company this afternoon. We'll see you very, very soon.